What is something that blew your mind once you realized it?
Story 1.
They were colonizing the Wild West at the same time as they were making skyscrapers in Manhattan. I always think of them taking place 80 to 100 years apart. It's wild.
Story 2.
One day I sat on a tram, passing a river. There was a duck in a tree. I realized I have never seen a duck in trees. No one else seemed to notice, but I was puzzled. Now whenever I come across something that seems intuitive but I have never considered, I call it a duck in a tree.
Story 3.
That you could legitimately travel at warp speed through the center of galaxies and never run any real risk of hitting a star. That's how spread out space really is.
Story 4.
Nuclear power plants are just steam power plants that use nuclear reactions to heat water. There's no fancy magic extracting energy directly from the nuclear material. They just boil water and spin a turbine.
Story 5.
Most electrical generation is spinning a turbine. Photovoltaic solar power is pretty much the only exception. And it's not the only form of solar energy. There is solar thermal energy, which used mirror or lenses to concentrate the heat of the sun to make steam and turn turbine.
Story 6.
Virtually all electricity is formed spinning a magnet.
Story 7.
Coal power plants do the same. Burn coal to heat water to generate steam to spin turbine.
Story 8.
That sharks predated the rings of Saturn.
Story 9.
Bacteria that eats rotting flesh of trees had to evolve too. For a long time, trees didn't just rot.
Story 10.
That sharks are older than trees.
Story 11.
That the Roman Empire fully fell less than 50 years before the discovery of the New World.
Story 12.
That the Romans also had copper wire, magnets, and battery acid. They could have invented electricity hundreds of years before it was actually discovered. But they didn't. The wire was used for jewelry, the magnets as lodestones, and the battery acid was used to clean the rust off of swords.
Story 13.
The speed of light is consistent in relativity no matter how fast you are traveling because of the effect speed has on time and gravity. If you are traveling at 99% the speed of light, then the light you emit from a flashlight would appear to be traveling away from you at the speed of light because your time is slowed.
Story 14.
The difference between a million and a billion is almost a billion.
Story 15.
That percentage can be reversed. 30% of 70 is 70% of 30.
Story 16.
I got really high and started thinking about our modern life. Clean potable water on tap. Living in air-conditioned houses with multiple rooms. Able to drive around in a machine capable of carrying thousands of pounds. Able to go experience food from around the world with little difficulty. Able to flush away your waste with water, not have it just build up and putrefy somewhere, but be treated, cleaned, and recycled. Able to talk to people across the world in real time. Even if it is expensive, the medical capacity we have in the first world is astounding. When you realize that we are all living like mini kings with our luxury, you start to appreciate it more. It blew my mind just how much we take for granted. Hot showers is definitely one which people really do not appreciate.
Story 17.
Smartphones. It used to be a device used to transmit sound to instantly communicate with one another over long distances. But now we just use it to complain about everything via text while maximizing spelling errors. Avoid speaking to people over distances at all costs, and look in boobies whenever we want.
Story 18.
When I found out a large percentage of people walk around all day without an inner monologue, it really messed me.
Story 19.
Being poor is very, very, very expensive. Once you have a decent amount of money and not debt, it's very easy to live super cheap. Once you have money to buy things, it's much easier to say no to those things.
Story 20.
Terry Pratchett and the Paradox of the Boots. A rich person can drop $50 on a pair of boots that are going to last him for 10 years, where a poor man has only $10 for a pair of boots that are going to last him for 1 year. Therefore, at the end of 10 years, the rich person will have spent $50 on a pair of boots, and the poor person will have spent $100. That's a quick summation.